Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. How are we doing today? Hello, I'm not hearing anyone.
Yeah, we're good.
You're good. That's good to
Yeah,
hear. Good.
we're
Thank
good.
you,
We're
Zele.
good. Good
That's
afternoon
good.
from here.
Compliments of the season. Good afternoon, Funny. May I see a lot of regular faces. Blessing, Esther, Precious, Z. Thank you so much, and Israel for joining. I know it's Yuletide season. A lot of us are perhaps doing our last minute Christmas shopping, which is great. It's towards the end of the year. Let's do what we can. To be a blessing to our families and our loved ones. That is, what we should be doing right now. Being grateful for how 2024 has panned out. So perhaps, like I said, let's just make this a kind of informal but very interactive session. You have me here and we have each other here. Let's just talk. Maybe what have been the highlights of your year with regards to your career? What has been the low lights if you want to share? That's fine. What is the strategy for 2025? Again, this is an open space, but at the same time, I'm hoping that it's a safe space as well. So let's start talking. Maybe I will start with myself. So I've always been a protagonist of self-development. Anytime I'm at an interview and somebody asks me a question around personal career development and says, what am I expecting the employer to do for me? I never ask that question. I don't ask any employer, what are you going to do for me regarding my career growth? I never ask that question. You might wonder why. Because I don't put that responsibility on my employer. That responsibility is 100% on me. So whether I'm employed or not, my personal career growth is on track. So I determine what I want to learn and I go do it. Right. And so at the beginning of this year, I had set out for myself a few certifications I was going to do. And I think as at the last count, there were about 7 that I had planned to do. And as of now, I've done 3. I'm doing another one before the end of the year, I'm very sure. The remaining 3, I don't think I can do them. So I'm carrying them over to the next year. So that's me. And I'm not waiting for any employer. Right. So has the year been good? Absolutely. As in good, I'm grateful, what I'm doing, what I've been able to do. And it's part of why I feel like, there's opportunity for me to give back. Right. I've had a lot of, you know, very great stories. I've met a lot of people, some of them on this call, most of them not even on this call that, you know, I'm just grateful to be on that path with them in their career where their career has literally transformed. So for me, I'm very grateful. I can give you stories upon stories upon stories of people going from a minimum wage job to earning, a near 6-figure salary here in Canada. And all has been towards, we being there for each other, contributing to each other's progress. So that has been my story. Does anyone else want to share? Yeah, Zele.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So this year, career-wise, has been okay, just okay. I would say I have a lot of lessons I've learned from this year. I came to realization that I was too comfortable where I was. I also I started trying um to put myself out there, but I kind of got discouraged at a point. And yeah, so for my 2025, I want to try to do better with the things I've learned. I've also met people that have also made me understand this, where I have limited myself in this year career wise. So I'm looking forward to implement all of those in 2025. Thank you.
I like that, and thank you, Zele. So I'm going to put you on the spot very quickly. What
Sure.
are your top 2 challenges for yourself regarding your career for 2025?
So one is to take the CHRP certification. And the second one is to get a better paying job.
Okay. And you know my opinion on that, right?
I know.
Great. I'm not going to say more than that. Thank you so much, Zele.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome. Anyone else? Or is there, and last question. Do you have any question for me?
Oh, no, not at this time. Thank you.
Okay then. Thank you. Who else? Okay, Israel. I like that.
Hi, Boyo. So before I start, I just want to ask what's your opinion on the last thing Zaylee said, because you asked her, do you know my opinion on that? So it will be good for you to share with us,
Oh
so
my
that
goodness.
we can also learn,
Are,
right?
are, are you on the WhatsApp group, Israel?
Yes, I am. I'm on the
Yeah.
WhatsApp group.
So
I'm on the LinkedIn group.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
on
I know, I know. So
yeah.
that was a rhetorical statement because I know you are. There was a post in the course of the week where somebody was talking about salary increase, and I had responded. Somebody put an image saying that an employee went to ask his line manager for a salary increase, and the line manager said, "No, we don't have budget for that." And the guy said, "But I do two people's job that I'm
Oh
just
yes,
going to
right.
resign,
Yeah,
right?" Yeah,
yeah.
and I responded, and that's why I was saying, "Does she know my?" So my opinion has always been that yes, you can ask for salary increase all you want, but
Mm-hmm.
every organization has a budget, right?
Yeah,
And every organization would be out to reward talents appropriately.
absolutely.
It's only when there's nepotism or favoritism that
Mm-hmm.
people reward talents in an unprofessional way. And and when people come to me and they say, no, I don't like my job, they are not paying me this, they are not that, they are not, and I say, now, okay. So for me, life cycle of work is you are prospecting for a job. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why when I tell people, when they come to me and you have a job offer, I don't care how much is on that offer letter. One of the very first things I say is that go and ask for more. Don't forget, I'm not an employee, I'm an independent consultant.
Okay.
So that's number one. So I'm not even, you can't come to me now and say, oh, you want to pay me 100K. No, it doesn't even mean anything. I know my worth, I know my value. Before we even start any interviews, I'm asking you the question, what is your budget? Now, you are not me. So let's come back to what we're saying. Now, and I can give you with examples. If I don't know, okay, you were not here last week, Israel. Somebody was here. I was here last week, and I said I had two proteges that were at the final stage of a job interview. Two of them, and I know them, and they work with me, right? And I said all I can say is to pray that one of them gets it. They were meeting with the VP of technology of a renowned non-profit organization here in Canada. And I told her, I said, when we did the interview prep last week of one of them, I told her, I said, I don't think a VP of technology will be meeting with more than three people at the final stage of an interview. And I happen to know two of them. I said, all I can pray is that one of you gets the job. Long story
Mm-hmm.
cut short, that interview happened on Friday, I think Thursday or Friday last week. She was given a provisional offer on Monday, which had an amount. So I'm not going to mention figure, but let's just say 1, 2, 3 as the amount. And I'm going to
Okay.
define 1, 2, 3 for you. So the organization came and said, the salary for this job is 1. But because of your expertise and experience, we are going to offer you 2. And they said, hope you would take this offer. And when she called me on phone and said, oh, Oga Mike, they've extended me an offer. I said, how much? She gave me a number. I said, how did they communicate it to you? He said, they sent her an email. What did the email say? He said 1 and 2. I said, no, I want to read the email. Send me that email. And that email had also the benefits that she will get. And I said, I don't care about the benefits. And I saw the email. The organization said, we're giving you 1. I mean, the salary for this job is 1, but we have decided, I've gotten approval to give you 2, and you resume early January. And I said, go and write a thank you letter and and tell them that you appreciate that this organization is an organization that rewards talent appropriately, and you would respectfully ask for an upward review of this offer. She wrote that letter on Monday. On Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon, she got a response. They had given her 3, right? And she now
Yeah.
said, Oga Mike, so can I ask for more? I said, no, you are breaching the contract. You can't ask for more. No, we don't ask. Now, very also critical, when I said, go ask for more, do I give a number? And I said, no, you don't give a number. That can work against you. So if you
Mm.
are asking 3 and they wanted to give you 4, they are going to give you 3. But if you don't ask, whatever they give you is what they can't give you. Because at the end of the day, there's no organization that works with unlimited budget.
Mm-hmm.
Every job role has a budget, and most organizations they have what they call a salary band, which is a range from X
Yeah.
to Y. Now, more often than not, recruiters would always offer you the bottom, which is the X. And usually there are about 3 segments, 3 to 4 segments, depending what the organization uses. It can be 3, it can be 4, it can be 5. Let's say between 80 and 100K. They can say 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. That's 5 segments. Some use
Mm.
use 3. They would always, the first offer you get is always the bottom of that band. So that's why you can always ask for more on your way in. But when you are in, the game changes. You have to wait for the organization's annual salary stroke performance review cycle. You can't just go asking for salary upgrade, right? The only way you can
Absolutely.
do that, the only other way you can do that is the quality of your work. And that's why I always tell people, you don't have to ask for salary increase the value of your work, because it's your value that determines your worth, and your worth is what translates to your pay. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does a lot of sense.
And it's also when people are being fired or laid off and people are in a room deciding who is to go or not. Nobody cares whether you're that tall, slim, handsome, beautiful lady. It's irrelevant. It is the value that you bring to the table that determines who is first to go and who is last to be considered. So I'm always about value. What value are you bringing to the table? What is the quality of your work? If somebody says, oh, let's let Mike go, the next question should be, who is going to do his job? He's doing a great job, right? So who is going to do his job? But if somebody mentions your name and we say, let's let X person go, and nobody is saying anything, nobody is countering it, that's just an evidence of the quality of your work. Now, there are outliers, there are exceptions to every rule. It could be that the company is experiencing bankruptcy or is experiencing financial issues and they need to cut down. They are just going to cut down. Some companies will first cut off the independents, the contractors, and then they now start coming to the employees and they start cutting down based on whatever criteria they deem fit. But all in all, work on the value, increase knowledge. I tell people, knowledge is power. If you have knowledge in the workplace, people will gravitate towards you. It doesn't matter whether you are red, green, or blue. Knowledge will differentiate you. Why do I keep pushing the frontier? People ask me, Mike, why are you writing another certification? It's because I want people to take me seriously. And that's why I tell people, I dare you, go look at my profile. And unfortunately, you won't find it on LinkedIn. LinkedIn doesn't even start saying half of the certifications that I have. There are at least 9 certifications that I have that are not on my LinkedIn profile. I can tell you right now. At least 9. So don't even go there, right? But, right, I know some of them, they cost money and all that. But in your own little corner, even if you're not writing certification, are you increasing knowledge? That's my challenge to everybody. I tell people I know a little bit about a lot of things. But people think that I know a lot of things. No, I know a little bit about a lot of things. And that's how I go. So let me stop there. I hope that has been able to drive some clarity into your question, Israel.
Absolutely, it has, and I appreciate you sharing. So this leads me to my second question, and I'll try to also summarize what I want to talk about. So yes, you also talked about your qualifications and putting them on LinkedIn. But you get into Canada, and a lot of people say you have to optimize your LinkedIn, put out all you've achieved on LinkedIn. A lot of recruiters come to LinkedIn to search and everything. So how do you go about that? That's one. Then very quickly, so I told you, I think I chatted with you about a week or two ago. I just got into Canada. My family has been here since March. I used to work in Nigeria, beautiful environment, lovely job. But of course, for family reasons, I had to come in at this point, right? I'm a public health professional. And for everyone I have spoken to and also interacted with, it seems as if more of the work related prospects in Saskatoon, where I am presently, are tilted towards either engineering or IT. Okay. Yeah, there are a few prospects in the health sector where I am. So people have said, okay, do a couple of certifications and everything, which I'm also looking at right in my field. But I'm also thinking of diversifying, right? So into things like data analytics and data visualization, which is cross-cutting across various components. Then I have also wanted, in fact, I've registered for a project management to do my PMP exam, but it's also been difficult, trying to read up and study, which I've been trying to do within the past 4 weeks that I arrived. That has also been difficult. I know there's no easy route to success. So that's one certification I've always wanted to have in the bag. So I wouldn't also mind any guidance, just to motivate and say, look, you can do this, and this is what it's worth, putting in all that energy. Thank you.
Okay, so that's quite a bunch in there. So let me start with and thank you for being here, Israel. I know we had connected, and so let me see how I can break down what you said. So first and foremost, let's go back to LinkedIn. So when I say I have certifications that's not on LinkedIn, that for me is a strategic move. It's a personal strategic move for me to do that. There are other certifications that I put on there, but that one is personal. But I'm just trying to say that if you go on my LinkedIn and you think, oh, this is all there is about Mike, you've not even seen half of it. Now, for me personally, I don't, LinkedIn is not my, how do I put it now? LinkedIn is not where I showcase myself. I work with recruiters and I have relationships with them. Don't forget, like I said, I'm an independent consultant. I'm not an employee. So rather than me applying for work, people call me up to say, we think you're a good fit for this job. What do you think? And then I work with the recruiter and the recruiter submits my profile. So more often than not, these recruiters, they would even maybe look at me on LinkedIn and it's just what they see because what I've put there that they used to call me. But most of them, I already know them. They have my profile, they have my resume. So I usually apply with my resume, not with my LinkedIn profile. Now, I can do that because I've been around for a while. So I've decided that, you know what, I'm going to just leave LinkedIn the way it is because everybody keeps bugging me anyways. But let me be the one to look out what I want. Now, that would not apply to you because you are at a phase in your career that you need to sell yourself big time. And LinkedIn might just be a place for you to leverage. I'm using LinkedIn for other purposes, but not necessarily to look for work. So there's a very distinct and please don't be me in that regards. So for you, you want to showcase your LinkedIn profile to reflect the professional persona that you want to be represented as. I'm kind of a little bit beyond that because I choose the projects I work on, right? And that's even another story for another day. So that's that on LinkedIn. And I also responded to a question in the WhatsApp group during the week that people talked about how do you corroborate your LinkedIn and your resume? And I responded. So again, let me not repeat myself here. Go read the charts in the group because I think everybody here, maybe apart from Fine Face, is not in the WhatsApp group. So go read it over there. Now,
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that
okay,
also.
thank
Yeah.
you. Now, coming back to, how do you want to progress in your career? If I may, Israel, my short answer, and I'll still try to respond to you here a little bit. My short answer would be you need to book a one-on-one session with one of our seasoned mentors so that we can actually sit down and look at where you are coming. Because you said a bunch of things, and I was nodding to most of them. You're talking about jumping into PMP, jumping into data analytics, jumping into some other, certifications. That's a lot to take in. And that's the challenge that we all get into when we come to Canada. Because don't forget that we are all seasoned professionals. So this is not the US where somebody is coming in on visa lottery. That's not what we are doing here. So I respect the fact that we are all seasoned professionals. There's nobody who comes into Canada as a skilled migrant that most likely does not even have 2 postgraduate qualifications. So, and then you come here and you feel like, oh, there's a lot of noise. Oh, let me do this, let me do that, let me do this. Now, without wanting to go into a lot of it, and I can throw it open to a lot of people, just jumping into one training, one domain, you need to be strategic. You need to talk to people. And I'll give you my own personal example. When I came to Canada 8 years ago, I already had 15 years post-qualification cognitive work experience in tech. I haven't worked in Africa and Europe with a global brand, telecoms company. I came into Canada, I started applying for work, 3 months, 6 months. I didn't land my first professional job until about a year later. But during all that time, everybody kept telling me, Mike, perhaps you should go and do a diploma or go and do a certificate course or go and do a postgrad. And I said, no, I'm done with school. I'm done with formal education. I can upskill, but I'm not going to school. And I stuck to it. But I was strategic. I kept working whatever work I could find and do, but I was strategic about upskilling. To the extent that by the time I got the first professional job and the project manager asked me a question and said, Mike, I see that you've been out of the professional space for about a year. How am I convinced that you are still the same person for this job and you still possess the same level of expertise? And I said, thank you very much for that question. And I said, first and foremost, my personal career development plan does not rely in the hands of an employer. It is my personal responsibility, and it has been for almost a decade. So I determine how I grow career-wise. It has nothing to do with whether I'm employed or not. And I now told him the things I've done within that 1 year and how I got to be sitting or standing in front of him for this interview. And I asked him a question. I said, in the course of this interview, and I asked for your full transparency and honesty, how have I been faring in this interview? And he said, you've actually been doing very good. He said, though I think like you come across as arrogant. I said, no, I'm sorry. It's not arrogance. It's self-belief, because I trust in my capabilities. He now said, okay, that's a new one. I said, yes. I now asked him, I said, would you believe me if I tell you that I'm interviewing for a project that is that's going to implement an application that I've never used? And I only came across it barely a week ago when I got to know about this interview. And I said again, be honest with me. In the course of this interview, would you actually think that I've never used that application before? I said, that's a good question. No, that you seem to talk about it quite well. And I said, where do you think I got that knowledge from? I said, it's from YouTube. I said, in this age and era, there was no ChatGPT 8 years ago, right? We can all agree on that. I said, knowledge is a dime a dozen. Except you don't want to learn. Knowledge is a dime a dozen. You can learn anything you want to learn, most likely for free. Most of the time we pay because we want structure. It's not that it's not available. And he said, And the interview went on. Long story cut short, I got the job. Barely 60 days into the job, he came to my desk one day. Very, very, very funny. He's a guy who is originally from Poland. He's a second-generation migrant to Canada. His dad fought in the Civil War. I said Civil War, World War. And he came and he put his hand on my head. He rubbed his hand on my head. And I looked at him. I was sitting down. He was standing up. And I looked at him. I said, what's that for? He said, Mike, I'm sorry. I don't mean to embarrass you. He said, but I just wanted you to know that we are lucky to have you on this project. He wrote one of the recommendations for me on LinkedIn by the time I was leaving the bank 2.5 years later. That the success of that project, I was a critical factor to it. Now, what am I saying? Why am I saying all of this? You need strategy, Israel. When I hear you say data analytics, project management, those are all different domains. We need to be able to sit down, and you are coming from public health. Nobody is saying throw it away anyways. You just need to understand what is it about public health that you can even actually leverage. Now, there are trades and there are, I mean, not skills, there are job functions that are more like tilt, how do I put it? That are tilted more to certain provinces. Now, I wouldn't be able to start reeling out to you what are the key skills that are required in the province where you are, but those are the kind of research that we can do. Or perhaps also you liaising with people in that profession, and which we hopefully we can find for you to say, oh, okay, what is the level of dynamism or creativity that you can do even within this domain? Now, if you have resolved in your own mind to pivot to tech, as it were, then the question again is, what do you want to pivot into? Even going to do training. And I tell people that training, doing a certification is not necessarily to get to the job. Certification is just a credential for you to say that an independent third party is able to validate that I know and have this skill. It's just a validation. And when I hear people throw PMP around, it's one thing that I hear everybody is telling me they want to go and do PMP. And I tell people, I dare you, PMP certification is not going to get you the job. That one, 100%, I'm sure. Because nobody is going to hire a project manager that does not have project management experience. Nobody. And you know why? Because the PM cannot be hired and he's winging it, looking for who to lean on. No, nobody does that. The PM is the set man for the project. The success and the failure of that project rests on the PM. So nobody is going to hire a rookie as a PM. Nobody, whether you have PMP or not. So I hear a lot of this, and I'm just speaking now, just PMP. We can go from one domain to another. And that's why I'm saying that I would advise you to book a session and we can talk about it. Please, I'm a strong advocate of don't just throw money to training. The training you want to go and do you know anyone that has done that training with that particular platform? What's their experience? There are a lot of people, and again, I'm very passionate about this. Everybody says, I will train you in 90 days, you'll get a six-figure job. And I ask you the question, are you the one that is going to employ me? So what happens if I don't get that six-figure job? Are you going to give me a six-figure job yourself? Because you see, here in Canada, we're no longer in Africa. You can do a lot of things. Time and resources is the name of the game. Time we all have in equal measure, but resources, no. And whether you like it or not, you will pay, whether out or in of pocket. So you can go and take student loan, but it's still a loan. You have to pay it back. So be careful where you put your money, or else you do training and that's the end, no value. And that's why you see somebody like me, I don't always shout training. I talk about upskilling. Upskilling can come in different forms. If you have to go to training, fine. But training may not always be the first option, right? So let me stop there and I can take input from anyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Boyo, for that response. Very enlightening, I must say. So just also to notify that, yes, I had booked that session, but I'm still waiting for a response from the team. So
Okay.
I'll be glad to get that.
I'll
Yeah.
connect with
Thank
you afterwards then.
All right, then. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Who is using? Okay, I think that's me. Okay. Anyone else? And thank you for sharing, Israel. Anyone else? So we are talking about, what are you grateful for in 2024 with regards to your career, and what are you looking forward to in 2025? And if there's any question you have for me, please feel free to share, to ask. Anyone?
All right. Good day, everyone.
Hi, Daniel. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for all that you do for the community.
Thank you,
For
sir.
me, I'm grateful to God. I would say coming to Canada, I came in Canada with the experience of handling a waterfall project as predictive project, where from the start to the end you have to plan and then move on. Any change, you go to CCP and do that. But I struggled. I just wanted to move into agile environment. I was able to, like you said, I had my certification with no experience. So that became a very big challenge for me. So I got an opportunity where a company was kind of looking for someone who will kind of volunteer to work as a scrum master. And because of the experience, I opted for it without pay. So I was able to complete that project. So I had at least, I left from my 0 level. I moved to, let me say, 25%, 30% at least is something that I can boast of. Though I only work with one team of, 3 developers. But we're able to follow up with all the principles. But when I came in here, I just said I needed to go into IT, and I met some couple of friends. And at least one of them is on this call too. I was just talking, how can I come into IT without writing codes, so that I'll have that idea. I believe that even if you're a project manager or you're a scrum master, you should have a little idea of what you are going into, so that when they are giving you all those terminologies, giving you all those things, you'll be able to know it. And God so kind, I came into Salesforce and I learned Salesforce. And I want to thank God because I went into an internship that was very, very strenuous. I only slept at least every day 4 hours a day. Thank God I've been delivered now. But I believe it was very good because I had that first-hand cool experience where I work with a project manager. I work with implementing consultant. I work with various kinds of people, and I really enjoyed the job. My first Scrum Master job, I did not use the tool called Jira. I was only using Excel to arrange my backlog, and when it moves like that. But this time, I was able to master Jira, Confluence. I was able to, in fact, a Lucy chart that I didn't know how to use before. I was able to look at flows. Everything just fell in for me. So I'm really grateful that, yes, I took that opportunity to kind of transition into it, which if I want to grade myself, I will still put myself at least 50%, but it's far way better. I can speak of what I know. I can speak of what I do. If I'm ready now, I'm not ready for interview. I'm not ready for job yet because I'm still in school. But once I'm done for next year, I should be able to say, okay, yes, these are the things I know. So I'm really, really, really grateful to God. And thank you so for the input you gave us for the issue of a LinkedIn or no LinkedIn, how to arrange LinkedIn. That was really my worry. But while I was following the discussion, I had to just put myself together that, hey, whatever it is, I have this experience. I just need to just brush it up and move ahead. So I'm really grateful to God that this year I've been able to lay hands on so many things. At least this year I had about 3 certifications. I'm even writing one again on Monday. I want to write one, at least 1 or 2 before the year is over. But I'm writing one on Monday. Then we see what happens. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Daniel, for sharing. And, permit me to say that, so that Israel doesn't get confused, that when you say you went into a training, you went to learn Salesforce and all of that. Now, so Israel, what I can say about the training platform that Daniel is talking about, and I'm not marketing for them here, is a training platform that I've experienced and at least I can vouch for, that I have respect for them. If I'm saying that, that is huge. And that's why I tell people, I have a personal, how do I put it? I'm so passionate about training platforms that are not giving value. For me, it's deception. And there are a lot of them around, a lot. And that's why I keep telling everyone, before you throw money into doing training, first and foremost, can you even get that skill for free? Most likely, yes. Then secondly, sorry, who else is not on mute? Mary Rose, can you please go on mute? Thank you. And if you have to pay for training, do your due diligence. Because you know what? Whether you get value or you don't, you are still going to pay. And that pay is coming from you. You're not going to blame anyone. I've seen a lot of people tell me, why, even I ask people, why are you on the fourth boot camp, BA? Fourth boot camp, the same BA. The first one I did, they didn't teach us, it was rubbish. The second one I did, and I'm like, how? How do you get to the fourth one? None of them is free. And it just pains me that people do this, but people do it because they don't know. And I think we have a culture from back home that you just want to arrive before you let people know what you are doing. Right? Like Yahoo Yahoo. No. Samadeyemi said that experience is the best teacher. He said no. He said learning from the experience of others is actually a way better teacher. That means you don't have to make the same mistakes people have made. No. You learn so that you don't make the mistake. Don't use your personal experience as the best teacher. No. So you do your due diligence. Very simple things. I hear people on the internet, you will get a 6-figure job in 90 days without any knowledge of tech. Just come. As long as you can use Excel, you will get it. And I'm like, just go online and read the reviews that people are saying about that particular person or their training platform. Because trust me, people have gone there and they will write those reviews online. Do you want to go and be the next person that will become the fraud victim before you say, oh, me too, I know those people? No. It's very simple. A lot of things you will find on the internet. Yes, there's a lot of crap on there, but there are also a lot of things that will give you pointers to know whether this is good or not. And that's all I'm saying here, that don't throw money into training. Throw money into upskilling, education, whatever. But before you give your money to anybody, try and find out what is the value proposition that they are offering. So that's where Daniel is coming from. Everything he said is from a platform that some of us on this call have been part of. And at least we can say that they are doing a pretty good job. Thank you. And thanks for sharing. I see a lot of other folks. Shout out to one of my very old school friend, Olumide. I know you joined. Thank you so much. We kind of went to the same high school, so he's as good as it gets. I'm putting you on the spot here, but I appreciate that you are here and thank you for joining.
Thank you, Guru.
Yeah, thank you. So we're just again saying that people are sharing highlights of their career 2024, and what are you setting for yourself as a goal for 2025? And if you have any question for me in any way I can be of help, please feel free to share. The house is quiet. Why is that? Now, so let me ask a rhetorical question, which is the same question I'm asking myself as we go into 2025. I go into 2025 with the question on my mind: what is the skill gap that I have in my chosen domain, area, career? Because career is too big. So I'm like, okay, if you're a BA, you have a BA job and you want to continue getting a BA job, I ask myself the question: what will make me a better BA? What will make me a more competitive BA? What will make me a more sought after BA in 2025? And you can say that for any other job title or domain. That's the question I'm asking myself. What are new skills that are out there that will help me leverage? Because you know what? So somebody called me recently and we were talking, and we started talking about. So the person said, oh, there are no jobs, there are no, and I said, it's not that there are no jobs. It's the ratio of job to applicant that is skewed. So maybe before now, there used to be one job, 4 applicants, but now there's one job, 400 applicants. Have any of you noticed that LinkedIn has changed the algorithm a little bit as to how many people has applied to a job? Has anybody noticed? They don't give you the direct number anymore. They just say over 100 applicants have applied. I learned that that was a response to emotional trauma, that they don't want to put how many people have. They will just say over 100 applicants have applied. Because there are times you go there and it's like you see 300 and something, 400, and you just get discouraged. You don't apply anymore, right? So it is the ratio of job applicants to the jobs available that have increased. Not just you who you think, oh, like Israel, you are new to Canada, you are looking for work. It's not just you applying to that job. There are folks like me who might have been laid off from a job, folks like me who might be in between contracts, folks like me who are also thinking of changing their jobs, and the list can go on, that are also applying for that same job. So it's not business as usual anymore. And you shouldn't be afraid to apply for any job, even though you see over 100 applicants. Do you also know that the count of those applicants on LinkedIn, that count is basically based on who clicks the apply button? That's what it's based on. You can go and try it. But now they're not counting one by one anymore when it's beyond 100. So if you click on it 4, it's going to say 4 applicants. If you click on it 10 times, it's going to say 10 applicants. But is it every time you click on the apply that you actually apply? The answer is no. So if you are convinced personally that you think you'll be a good fit for this job, don't be discouraged that 100 people have applied. Apply. The first thing is that, do you even believe in you? Before you now ask somebody else to believe in you. And then what are you doing about your own personal career needs analysis? Like Zele said at the beginning of the call, she's planning to write the is it CPHR or CPHR, right? Exam next year, right? That's what she set as a goal. And that's fine. And then hopefully with that, you'll be able to differentiate herself. I was talking to somebody else sometime recently. She said she's looking for BA roles, but she realized that most of the time, those BA roles are saying having a PMP certification is an asset. And then she's going to write the PMP certification. And I said, that's fine. But it may not just be the right time for you to now say, oh, because I've done my PMP certification, I should start applying for project management role. I said, if I were you, no, because you've never been a project manager and you've never been in that role. I'd rather still apply for BA role, but put project management competencies in my resume. And then when somebody looks at you or you're sitting across the interview table, the person will know that, yes, you're applying for a BA role, but you have project management competencies. Then you'll be a differential in that whole interview process, right? That's what people need to start doing. You need to start becoming multi-skilled, even in your own domain. You need to have cross-functional abilities and competencies that are relatable to your particular area of expertise. And that's why more often than not, when I'm across the interview table, I always tell my interviewer, whether I'm applying for a project management role, a BA role, or a test management role, I say you're getting one resource for the role of 3 people. And they ask me why, and I tell them why. Because I can function in any of those particular roles, and I have the skill set. But it doesn't just come by chance. It comes by being deliberate, by being intentional. And I'm not saying you should be like me, but I'm just saying try to aim for better and work at it. So let me stop talking and hopefully I'll get feedback. Thank you. Hello, anyone?
Okay. Sorry, Daniel again here.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to, like you rightly said, next year is already here. And whatever you want to do as an individual, like what I'm doing basically now is the question you asked now is what I'm looking at. Where are those areas that I need to brush up? Where are those areas that I need to fill up so that when I get into the market, I will not for any reason, I will not for any reason be stranded. I think I saw something that was posted on the WhatsApp group, and that got me thinking. I think you stress it again here, that says that don't wait for perfection. Immediately I saw don't wait for perfection, I was taken aback. I said, no, 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 no. That should not be it. We ought to put our best foot out there and get what we want to get. But while I looked into the further things that was written, I now understood the purpose for that headings that says that you don't need to meet 100% of your qualification to apply for a job. I say, wow, that's great. So that makes me say, okay, if I'm not waiting to have 100%, but I should be close to it. For example, if they are looking for, let me say 100%, I should have at least 80%. So based on my field, I am working on, okay, what are the new things that is needed? Because like you said, when you go into IT is evolving. A lot of things are coming in, new things are coming in and all that. So that is what I'm doing presently now to say, okay, since I say I want to go into this field, what do I need to do to match up so that when the time comes, I will not be found wanting. So I am doing that. I cannot specifically tell you that, okay, this and this and this, because I'm still doing some research to have that clarity of exactly the particular one, that because I have to also arrange it, according to priority to see which one can come first and can also mean or matter to me. So that is just my own contribution to what I want to say at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Like you rightly said, a continuous, we all use this terminology, I'm a lifelong learner. And I think that has grossly been bastardized. Yeah, we write it on our resumes because it looks good, it makes us feel good. But the question is, are you truly a lifelong learner? Are you? Right? And that's a rhetorical statement, right? So, okay, so continuous improvement. Yes, you want to go and do Lean Six Sigma now, John? Or you're already Lean Six Sigma certified, right?
Certifications plenty.
It's too much, right? Yeah. So anyone else? Olumide, I'm going to put you on the spot because you are here. I don't know when next I'll have you here. What do you have to share with us? As in, I know you are listening, you are taking it in, but I would appreciate if there's anything you would want to contribute.
So, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, then I'm using earpiece. I'm not sure if it's going to be clear. So, pretty much, let me put it this way. And I want to echo what Michael has said and Daniel. I've been in the field for over 20 years, working in technology, and I've been a project manager for a while. But based on my experience, I will tell you that question will always come up. What do you need to do to separate you from the crowd? And that most times turn out to be the deciding factor. So as a project manager, you see a lot of people talking about agile nowadays. I personally went ahead and did training certifications on SAFe, and it gave me an edge. I do contracting, and as you guys are aware, contracting is always like 6 months, 1 year, etc. But I can tell you, in the last roughly 11 years, I've had stable contracts. Stable. I'm never out of contract for more than a few weeks, maybe 1 or 2 weeks. And the main reason is because I always try to upskill. I always ask that question from time to time. What can I do differently? And that is going to set you out from the crowd. So like I've given you the example of agile. You know, like if you're a project manager and people start talking about Scrum, Kanban, Agile, etc., I would encourage you, go ahead, get those extra skills. And even in technical terms, you know, like as a project manager, you need to be able to, like, there are so many project managers out there. Typically, most IT guys, after 10, 15, 20 years experience, they want to become IT project managers, which obviously means the market is going to be kind of saturated. So you need to be able to set yourself aside from the core. What area of project management do you want to go to? Do you want to specialize in any particular area, or do you want to be a jack of all trades? But I can tell you that it's always good to focus on one. Then, if anything comes, you are equipped to handle it. So one of the things I did then was, because I have a background in infrastructure and cybersecurity. So after a while, I went into full cybersecurity. And whenever I work with the cybersecurity guys in terms of delivery lead, I always get very good feedback because I communicate to them in their language. And that makes a lot of difference. And I've been drafted into projects that were cumbersome just based on my reputation with my current employer. So, I mean, I just wanted to share that with you guys to know that practically it does work.
No, thank you so much.
That's it for me. Or unless Boyo, you want me to address any specific thing.
Yeah. I want to. So again, I want people to hear it from somebody else. Like, I hear a lot of what I would call intermediate people in their career, maybe like, you know, let's say well under 10 years, let's say maybe 5, 6. You come to Canada. Technically, when you come to Canada, you are pressing a reset button that can set you back another 3, 4 years, right? And then you now say, oh, just because I've been doing XYZ where I'm coming from, I want to start aspiring for a project management role. They even go ahead and say, oh, I'm going to write PMP to increase my chances. What's your take on this? You've been out there. That's what you do. What do you look for when you're hiring, if you're hiring another project manager, or how has the story been for you?
So for me, if I'm working on getting a new project manager, the key thing I want to look at is I want people to be sincere. I don't want you writing so many good things and you cannot defend it. And I can tell you guys, anytime you are asked a question, the way an experienced person would answer is always different from the way somebody that just went for a weekend training or wrote this dissertation would answer. Because the guy with the experience may not necessarily give that fancy textbook definition, but that guy relates it to work he has done. So that's on one side. What I basically look for is somebody that is sincere, somebody that is trainable, somebody that is willing to put the effort to get up to speed. Because I've seen that a lot of times, irrespective of, in most times, you know, you come with a lot of nice experience. You still need about a month or two to understand the new organization you're going into. So it's like a learning curve for everybody. So I'm happy to take in new guys as long as they fit into those different criteria. Now, I'll be very careful about just coming in and pivoting. The first thing I always tell people to do is to take a step back. What are you good in? What have you been doing over the last few years? Like if you're coming from Nigeria, from UK, Europe, anywhere, what have you been doing over the last few years? What can you leverage to get into the new market, assuming you're just coming into Canada? And those are the kind of, like, there's no one fit answer to this. It's different circumstances. Your background determines a lot. But I won't encourage people to just jump into a new field. The first thing is a self-reflection. Where are you today? What have you been doing over the last few years? How can you leverage that to kind of package something to move into where you want to be? So like project management, if I want to use specific example, I would say if you're in banking, what have you been doing in banking? How can you leverage it? And like Boyo mentioned, you now say, yes, you have the competency in project management. And I can bet you, I've seen situations where people get employed into roles based on the competency. They see it as buy one, get one free. You are trainable, you have the finance experience. I'll give you a very good example. I've seen people coming with coming for PCO roles, and all they know is finance. And that guy that knows finance, anybody can do finance. But don't forget that there are different processes within different organizations. There are different tools that is used for the different finance in terms of when dealing with forecasts, actuals, accruals, etc. Different organizations have different processes. But that guy that says, yes, I can do finance and I know about project management will always come very handy, because it means that I'm not just getting somebody to do finances for me. I could also get somebody to like help me with other stuff like risk management, planning, etc. Somebody that is trainable. So what that effectively does is it gives you one egg into where you want to be. So I mean, that's the way I would view it.
Fantastic. No, thank you so much, Olumide. And so let's give folks, maybe one or two people before we wrap things up here to react to, everything Olumide has said. And thank you so much again, Olumide. So Olumide is selling himself short. So we went to the same high school. He's like he said, his background is tech, right? So he's seen a lot too. And, that's why I said I wanted him to chime in here. So, John.
Thank you so much, Michael, and thank you, Oga Olumide. I have to put Oga because what you've actually said, clearly, like you mentioned, when you hear experience speak, it's everywhere, and, I just want to buttress just a little side from me. And truly, people really need to reflect. I'm one of those people who tell people it's not really about what everybody is doing. I mean, if you're doing what everybody is doing, there you can't get good results really, because it means everybody can do it. And like you mentioned, it's always good to ask that question: what are you good at? What have you been doing? And I tell people, regardless of wherever you're coming, regardless of any years of experience you have, there's always something you can do with it. So it's not just you come to an environment and the first thing is which one they sell for here, or in this location, all those things they talk about, or in this province, this is the jobs they are having here, you need to do this. And can you go online and do your own personal research? You'll be amazed that, organizations like this exist. Now, let me go a little bit personal. I'm in Europe, not in Canada, sorry. When my wife joined me in Europe, yes, coming from Nigeria, she's in finance, right? I think I've said this a lot of time. But at some point, what I looked at then is just like what Oganumili mentioned, right? All our years, like over 10 years, is finance. That alone is an asset. Any organization, in as much is not a non-profit organization, they need that bottom line, a debit and a credit. So that already is ticked. Now, what will now separate you from others that knows finance? Then that is where you now need to go into that upskilling. What can I add to what I already have? Now, you adding something else to it is what will separate you from others. And there are a lot of programs out there and all of that. But for me personally, what I also know is BA is everybody, one way or the other. I can narrow BA to any experience, even healthcare, any profession. There's a bit of business analysis you can take from it, right? But when you look at most organizations, there's always a tool that they use. And that is you trying to identify what kind of applications can organization in this area of expertise. So we are talking about healthcare. What kind of applications do people in healthcare use? You are talking about construction. So already you're an architect, you know everything and all of that. What kind of applications do they use in this current day? So when you specialize, when you go and upskill in those things, you are not just going to the marketplace to say, I'm an architect. You're not just going there to say, I have 5 years experience in healthcare, this and that. But you are adding what they currently use. So that again is the two, is like you're buying one, but you have two package that you are getting. And that is what we separate it from others. I've always been saying this in over weeks that we'll be talking about. My wife, the job she got, of course, is in finance, but it was the application that she went to study that got her the job. Funny enough, they were looking for someone that has finance background, someone that have a knowledge of the application the organization is using. The company is not even based in Europe, it's based in US, but they have a branch in Europe. And that was all of it. So it's good that you have something you've been doing for years and all of that. It's not a waste, but let's not jump into what everybody is doing. The knowledge, the experience that you have is sufficient. What you need is to upskill. And in that upskilling, when you then package it well, you'll be amazed at organizations that is looking for your service. That's my little sense. Thank you, Michael.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you for being the other side of the coin to Olumide. And I couldn't even say it better. And thank you to both. And that's been very enlightening. I do say this, but I think maybe a lot of people are kind of fed up with hearing me saying it over and over, that you have to upskill. You have to upskill. There's no other way. I said to somebody, I said, there are just more people looking for that one job. It's not that there are no jobs. There are jobs. So you just have somebody, one of my proteges, still got a job just this last week. Honestly, as in, I tell people, I said, listen, just do it, right? Put in your best, do whatever you want. I can't just be showing you my WhatsApp, screen right now. But that's one of the things that keeps me going. Why I do what I'm doing here. That you're able to be part of people who are willing to put in the work, and and God helps us. Everything at the end of the day, I believe in the God factor, right? And that's what we do. So I just want to thank everyone again for joining. I think we'll start bringing this to a close. I would give opportunity for maybe just one person from the audience that might not have said anything. Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap this up? We are way past time, and I want to respect everybody's time. Anyone? Going 3? Going 2? Going 1? I think everybody has actually taken time to reflect, right? And again, I just want to thank everyone. Compliments of the season. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Wishing everybody a brand new and great new year coming in. And our next session will be on the 11th of January. So we're taking like a 2 weeks break. I think I need that break actually. But I just want to thank all of you for coming. I respect your time. I respect the fact that you chose to be here, not because you have to be here. And, for those of us joining for the very first time, please feel free. Like I put in the social media platforms, scan those QR code. I also plead with us all, join all of our social media platforms that we have right now. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on LinkedIn, join the community, and by extension, join the WhatsApp group. If you have not joined the WhatsApp group and you are finding issues joining it, I don't want to be sharing WhatsApp group, the group chat URL. No, you join the community. If you are in the community and you are yet to join, I can share the WhatsApp group link with you. That's fine. But I just don't want the WhatsApp group out there. No, I want it to be a very safe space. It's growing organically, and I appreciate everyone that has been part of our success up until now. That said, appreciate you all. Have a great rest of the year, and God bless you.